It's discouraging and worrisome. All of our lives are pretty different now with the pandemic, said McLean, but this just takes it to such a different level and it's very isolating. McLean's isolation began in September when she tested positive for the virus. Her symptoms included cough, shortness of breath, a racing heart and debilitating exhaustion. 9 weeks after her diagnosis, the 42-year-old is still suffering from those same symptoms. Disabling fatigue prevents me from being able to do daily life, said McLean. McLean is part of a new group of patients called COVID long haulers. It's not a medical term but one patients came up with to describe those who have symptoms well after their initial infection. At St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver, Canada's first post-COVID-19 clinic, the team is trying to understand the long-term effects and why some patients are so sick. I'm seeing a lot of suffering, said Dr. Jessie Greiner, director of the clinic. COVID-19 is a clever disease. The virus looks for ACE2 membranes in the body. These are doors that open up easily to allow the virus to find a home. Coronavirus. Ontario Premier Ford announces $1 billion COVID-19 resilience stream program for infrastructure funding. Flu shot shortage in Peterborough explained. 6 arrested after GTA investigation into illegal street racing, stunt driving. Coronavirus. Minister explains Ontario's new omnibus bill to assist municipalities with economic recovery. Coronavirus. Ontario opens application for PPE grant, rebate program for small businesses. B.C. Man sentenced for selling fentanyl-laced cocaine which killed 4 in Saskatoon in March 2018. Pfizer says coronavirus vaccine is 95% effective. Ontario expecting COVID-19 vaccines in early 2021. Rideshare safety tips. Rideshare program making its way to Peterborough. Coronavirus. Ontario school closures being considered. One section of Brampton has a 19% positivity rate for COVID-19. City of Peterborough to run pilot project on traffic control. Uptick in crime within Peterborough. City of Toronto opens new underground pathway at Union Station for commuters. The struggles of COVID-19 long haulers. The virus often strikes the lungs first and it was initially thought to be a respiratory disease. Doctors now realize that's not the case. The virus is aggressive and can also zero in on the heart, liver, kidneys, brain and immune system. There's still no explanation for why some patients still feel so sick after they're not contagious. That's the million-dollar question, said Dr. Jane McKay, an internal medicine specialist and part of the team at St. Paul's Hospital. There's no evidence to say what it is at this point. The clinic is studying what's happening in real time. The 160 patients being treated there are also the backbone of crucial research at the hospital. McLean is one of them. For the next 2 years, she will be undergoing a series of extensive tests to understand how she became a long hauler. She joins Jacqueline Robinson, who was diagnosed with COVID-19 during the first wave in March. Robinson spent 8 days on a ventilator and is still in recovery mode. I'm not back to my baseline. I still feel permanently changed from this disease, said Robinson. Robinson has a unique lens because she's also a nurse who works with the clinic. Coronavirus. Nunavut reports 10 new COVID-19 cases. Nunavut lockdown underway to curb recent COVID-19 outbreaks. Coronavirus outbreak. A timeline of how COVID-19 spread around world. Restaurant industry shut down as NS enters second wave. Reports of domestic violence rise during COVID-19 pandemic. Fewer calls for domestic violence support in Manitoba has experts concerned. U.S. surpasses 12 million COVID-19 cases ahead of Thanksgiving week. Greta Thunberg tells Montreal crowd that climate crisis is beyond party politics. Trudeau meets Greta Thunberg before climate march in Montreal. Zainab Azim selected as the youngest Canadian role model to promote STEM and gender equality globally. Coronavirus. Trudeau says lack of domestic vaccine production the reason for wait. Palliative care physicians say homelessness is not a static situation. Toronto palliative care patient on homeless spectrum describes greatest fear with health diagnosis. Trudeau says he continues to talk to Trump about challenges around softwood lumber. I am a nurse. I like to make sense of things, and the hardest part of this whole experience for me is there's no answers, said Robinson. Coincidentally, both Robinson and McLean are the same age, 42. It's a little bit too early in the game for me to give you statistics and an age range for who is suffering these symptoms, said Greiner. I can tell you that I'm seeing a lot of people under the age of 50 that are having ongoing symptoms. I'm seeing people over the age of 50 as well. The long hauler condition is so new that it's impossible to know how many people could be in this category. Hannah Davis believes she had COVID-19 in March. At the time she lived in New York, the epicenter of the virus in the United States. Early on, it was hard to get a test, and when she did, it was 31 days after the onset of her symptoms. She suffers from extreme exhaustion and brain fog. I forgot how to look both ways before crossing the street. It felt close to a dementia-like experience, and that was scary, said Davis. Davis is now getting treatment from doctors at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. Coronavirus. Ontario Premier Ford announces $1 billion COVID-19 resilience stream program for infrastructure funding. Flu shot shortage in Peterborough explained. 6 arrested after GTA investigation into illegal street racing, stunt driving coronavirus. Minister explains Ontario's new omnibus bill to assist municipalities with economic recovery coronavirus. Ontario opens application for PPE grant, rebate program for small businesses. B.C. Man sentenced for selling fentanyl-laced cocaine which killed 4 in Saskatoon in March 2018. Pfizer says coronavirus vaccine is 95% effective. Ontario expecting COVID-19 vaccines in early 2021. Rideshare safety tips. Rideshare program making its way to Peterborough. Coronavirus. Ontario school closures being considered. One section of Brampton has a 19% positivity rate for COVID-19. City of Peterborough to run pilot project on traffic control. Uptick in crime within Peterborough. City of Toronto opens new underground pathway at Union Station for commuters. The struggles of COVID-19. Long haulers. Thousands and thousands of people are going to be falling through the cracks. Thousands already have in the first wave that haven't really gotten the help they need still, said Davis. Next, Davis says, they are going to focus on neurological issues and brain fog. We've reached over 4,700 long COVID participants in over 70 countries. As for McLean, she is focused on testing and getting better. She hopes one day she can escape the waves of exhaustion that control her life. I just hope it's not going to be too long. You know, I'd love to go for a walk.